Well, today looks like it's going to be another very good day after what we saw yesterday, perhaps some more follow-on buying, but so many stocks to talk about. So without wasting any time, let's go across to Abhishek to talk about Canfin Homes and Poonawalla Fincorp. How are the numbers looking?
Well, it's a mixed bag of numbers coming in from Canfin Homes, more on the bad side. Take a look at the net interest margin. It's at 8-quarter high of 3.96% versus 3.92%. However, the spreads have actually declined by 28 basis points sequentially. Asset quality has improved, seasonal in nature. Gross NPA ratio is at 0.82% versus 0.91% in the previous quarter. Disbursements have declined by 8.8% YOY, which has led to AUM growth being the lowest that you are seeing in last 11 quarters, coming in at just 10.9% YOY. Poonawalla Fincorp, strong quarter continues for them. Disbursements are up 52% YOY and about 11% sequentially. AUM growth is around 55% YOY and more than 13% sequentially. Asset quality has improved. Net interest margin has declined YOY but improved on a sequential basis. The NII growth is 57% YOY and 16.5% sequentially. PAT growth is 83.5% YOY and about 25% sequentially. Back to you.
All right, Abhishek, thanks very much for that. So that's Poonawalla Fincorp in focus. Tata Chemicals is the next one. Sonal is here with details on the numbers here. Sonal, morning.
Good morning, Prashant. Well, it was a very weak set, much lower than what the street was working with. If you look at the numbers, revenues down 21% on a YY basis, EBITDA is down 54%, margins at 12.7%. That's a multi-quarter low for the company. And the surprise was a loss this time around to the tune of 827 crore rupees versus profit that the company reported last year. It was on the account of one-time non-cash impairment in the UK soda ash business of 963 crore rupees. Even strip of that, the profits would have been lower than estimates. Both the segments did not do well. The basic chemistry business, where the revenues were down 21% and reported an EBIT loss of 682 crore rupees. Similar is the story with specialty products, where revenues were down 20% and EBIT loss came in at 39 crore rupees. Expect the stock to be in the red today.
Okay, all right. Thanks for that, Sonal. Well, another one that could be in the red would be Birlasoft. Rima joins us to tell us more. Morning, Rima.
Hi, good morning. So the revenues for Birlasoft is lower than what the street was anticipating. The company's delivered a 1.6% revenue growth, lower than consensus expectation of about 2.2%. That said, margins have improved by 30 basis points. EBITDA is at 16.3%. But the overall deal wins for the company, the new deal wins in FY24 are down 4%. So that makes the street a bit worried that what could the growth look like for the company next year. Nuvama has downgraded, Birlasoft post the numbers to reduce. They say flat TCV. TCV is total contract value, deal wins, and no margin expansion will keep the earnings growth subdued, and therefore current valuations at 24 times forward multiple appear to be expensive. So a miss on the top line and a downgrade by Nuvama. Back to you.
Okay, thanks a lot for that. Well, the stock has been reflecting that, right? Look at the performance in the last 3 months, down 20%. Let's move on now, actually. Sonal is with us to talk about Linde India. Sonal, how did it look?
Well, Linde India is in focus, and it has been in focus for past couple of trading sessions. Now, SEBI has asked NSE to appoint a valuer, and this is via order that SEBI has issued, where they've asked NSE to assess business foregone by Linde and related party transaction with Praxair, where they had entered into a joint venture as well. The order says that they need to see, oversee and value the business opportunities with relation to related party that needs to be scrutinized. They've asked Linde India to also reimburse expenses incurred by NSE in the valuation exercise as well. Now remember, Linde India and Praxair, they had entered into a JV of 50-50. This is to set up Linde South Asia Services, where Linde South Asia Services would have provided admin services and other services to both of these companies. An agreement also contained a clause to allocate products and geographies to both entities. Now, the minority shareholders were of the view that Praxair was benefiting at the expense of Linde India, and that's why it was not showing in the profitability of Linde India, and that's why they had commented against it. And now SEBI has initiated an order here, which is in favor of minority shareholders. They've taken that request ahead, and that's why it's a positive for them.
All right, Sonal, thanks very much for that. Small business finance is the next one we're focused on. And the reported numbers, Vivek is here with details. Vivek.
Well, the reported numbers dipped yesterday, we accessed a term sheet where actually we are seeing a very large block deal that is likely to happen in the session today itself. So 3 promoter group entities. The first one is 845 Services, Output Capital and Output Partners. These 3 entities together hold close to 5.45% stake in the company. Now, this particular offer is priced in the range of 87.5 to 91.65 rupees a share. Now, at the upper end of the price band, which is the current market price of the company, the total equity or the total size of the value will be a little over 530 crore. Now, remember, after this particular block deal goes through, all of these three entities will not be left with any stake in the company. So it's a clean out trade. Post this, expect the stock to recover given the fact that it was a bit of overhang on the company.
Lovely. Thanks a lot for that, Vivek. Well, Abhishek joins us to tell us about a couple of more banking names. Morning, Abhishek.
Morning, Nigel. So, UCO Bank has made good use of their low CD ratio or low credit to deposit ratio with respect to boosting their net interest margin as well as profitability. NII growth is at 10.9% YOY and about 10% sequentially. Net interest margin has jumped to 3.03% versus 2.84% in the previous quarter. PAT is down 9.5% YOY, but it's increased 4.5% sequentially. Deposit growth is just 5.5% YOY and about 2.7% sequentially. But look at that loan growth, 16.8% YOY and 4.5% sequentially, which means that their CD ratio has actually improved both YOY and quarter on quarter. The board has also given an approval for fundraising via 400 crore shares, which at CMP would translate roughly to around 23,400 crore worth of capital being raised if at all the bank intends to do so. Jana Small Finance Bank, strong quarter over there. Deposit growth is at 38.2% YOY and about 8.5% sequentially. The AUM growth is healthy at 25.5% YOY and about 4.5% sequentially. Asset quality has improved. The net interest margin is improved YOY for the FY24. So for FY24, net interest margin is at 8%, which compares to 7.8% in the previous year or in the previous fiscal. NII is up 26.5% YOY and about 7.7% sequentially. They have a huge tax write back of 155 crore, which has boosted the profitability this time around. Back to you.
All right, Abhishek, thanks for that. So, I mean, lots and lots of banking and financial results, right, this week, and that continues. But more K Fintech and Vesuvius India, the next two that we've got on our radar. Vamakshi has got those. So, Vamakshi.
Well, good morning, Prashant. Let me first start off with K Fintech. The company has reported an inline set of numbers. Overall, average AUM at almost 17.4 lakh crores saw growth of almost 11%, much higher as compared to the industry. The equity average AUM, however, saw a growth that was slower than the industry, and as a result, the equity average AUM market share actually declined marginally to 33.4%. And this is important because the equity average AUM market share has been declining for 6 straight quarters. That said, revenue has seen an uptick of almost 4% sequentially. This was largely supported by a 7% rise in the domestic MF investor base as well as the 27% jump in international and other investor solutions. This is partly offset by the decline that we saw in issuer solutions. EBITDA margins have also expanded for the counter, 103 basis points higher to 45.8%, and net profit has seen an uptick of almost 11% sequentially. And as a result, I'm going in for a mild green for K Fintech. Apart from that, Vesuvius also on our radar, strong set coming in from the company. Revenue saw an uptick of 24%. Margins have improved to 20.8% as compared to 14.5%, and in fact margins are at a multi-quarter high. Net profit has also seen a huge surge of almost 60% on a year-on-year basis. So on the back of that, going with a green for this counter as well.
All right, thanks a lot. In fact, the management of K Fintech will be joining us in a short while from now, so do stay tuned in for that. Here's a quick recap of our top stocks with positive news flow: Poonawalla Fincorp, Linde India, SBFC Finance, UCO Bank, Jana Small Finance Bank, K Fintech and Vesuvius India, while stocks with negative news flow: Canfin Homes, Birlasoft, Tata Chemicals. Let's also get a quick grip on what's happening in the world of commodities. Manisha Gupta joins in for a roundup of all the action from the commodity market. Manisha, hi, good morning.
Morning, Sonia. Thank you for that. Well, I'll start with the crude oil prices, where there are Israel and Hamas ceasefire talks happening in Cairo, and the crude prices have seen some premium go off because of that. Also, the sticky U.S. inflation has dented sentiment around rate cuts. The markets are also reacting to the strong U.S. dollar, which is weighing onto the crude oil prices right now. All eyes now on the U.S. monetary policy decision on 1st of May, and the China PMI numbers, well, that are also anticipated. The China non-PMI numbers that came in today have expanded at the slower pace in the month of April, and that's weighing on many of the metal prices as well. So some profit taking is what we've seen happen across metals. Steel and iron ore especially have seen a decline. Within the non-ferrous metals, copper prices, though, have continued to trade near two-year highs, holding at around $10,040 a ton even right now in Asia. In the precious metal markets, well, the month of April is ending as a third straight month of gains, where gold is gained up by 5% and silver is up 8% for the month.
Okay, all right, Manisha, thanks a lot for that. And manganese ore prices as well overnight did see a big surge. We had highlighted this last week itself. There's a disruption at an Australian mine that could keep prices elevated. And that's what's happened overnight as well. So some disruptions in Australia, and there's some kind of logistical problems in South Africa as well. So manganese ore prices moving up. Moil is normally the stock that we track out here. For the time being, we simply a short break. Up next, we'll have Amnish Agarwal or Prabhudas Leeladhar, who will be joining in with some fundamental stock analysis. Later on, we'll have the management of KFin Technologies, who will join us post their numbers. Stay with us.